Friday morning. It is September the 2nd. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together. Let me scoot over here a little bit. 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Hopefully get your day started off on the right note, updated with the world of weather, and also knowing everything that there is to know about the weather. Maybe even a smile on your face. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I hope you had a great night. Hope you're having a great morning, at least weather-wise. There's plenty to talk about. The top two things that we are monitoring. First and foremost, your Labor Day weekend forecast. We're going to take you right through every bit of it. That and go for launch. SLS is on the pad. Crews have given it the green light, and we are targeting a launch window for tomorrow. Yes, WESH 2 will be out there live. I'm taking the Weather Lab dark and early. I will see you all day long. So much you're going to be sick of me. We've got coverage on sunrise, and of course we'll have a special leading up to the launch itself. So that way you can hang out, nerd with us on TV, and then we can all stop and watch the launch together. And of course we'll be carrying that launch live. But before we get into anything else, let's just see what's doing outside right now. Ooh, it is gray over New Smyrna Beach, isn't it? We had plenty of afternoon showers and thunder showers yesterday. Temperature-wise, we are nice and muggy. We'll get to that in a minute. But with those gray skies, let's just see what's doing. And yes, of course, there's a nice downpour. And not just rain. We're actually tracking some thunder and some lightning at this hour. So let me take you in. It's just south of New Smyrna Beach itself. You can see Oak Hill, Edgewater, from about the Ponce Inlet south. A nice little downpour just kind of firing up right at the beaches. It's paralleling, so it's not necessarily going to be a big impact for you, but it's putting out quite a bit of lightning. And I do want to point out that anytime that there are lightning strikes, it can be dangerous to be outside. And as a matter of fact, it is dangerous to be outside. So not a good morning for a walk on the beach, unfortunately. Nikki, good morning to you. John, how are you? Jenny, Frankie, good morning. Miss Melanie, how are you? Denise, Carol, good morning, good morning. Nikki says the lightning was insane yesterday evening in Osteen, Sanford, for sure. Ed says raining here on Rose Bay. Interesting. Our radar, I can see some rain near you. Let's just switch over to Melbourne. That's our live radar. There's Melbourne. Yeah, it's outside of range of MCO. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not going to not believe you, it's just not showing up on any of our radars. But at any point, there's plenty of lightning out that direction. Obviously, it's dark. It's dark. So through the day today, we do have that one downpour out there. Then we kind of get the daytime heating. That's going to at least help to mix the atmosphere a little bit, give us a bit of a dry window. And then we get into more thunderstorms firing up. Today, I think, is going to be another stormy forecast. Yesterday, we ended up at about a 50% coverage. Today, I think we'll jump to about a 60% coverage of showers and thunder showers. So just plan accordingly, and you'll be good to go. It's going to be another active afternoon. Lots of lightning yesterday. And as a matter of fact, not just a lot of lightning yesterday, but unfortunately, and I don't know if you watched WESH 2 News yesterday, but we did actually have a weather-related fatality. It says today, I know. Let me fix that. So yesterday afternoon, I popped on Facebook Live from the house. Storm reports. Because there was a particularly nasty cell that was moving through Orange County, lifting into Seminole County. And while I was doing that, the Orlando Executive Airport registered a 62 mile per hour wind gust. And I thought that was of note. Well, turns out, unfortunately, it flipped a couple of planes over, and there was a report of a fatality. Oh, for goodness sake, computer. I'm trying to show you the graphics that Manolfi made and I assisted with last night. All right, so here it is. So at 4:55 p.m., a severe wind gust measured at 62 miles per hour at the Executive Airport overturned two small private aircraft. One plane was unoccupied, but the second plane had two people on board, resulting in one fatality and one injury. Man, how sad is that? So I saw when the weather station there reported a 62 mile per hour wind gust. This is data off of our live radar, and you could see that 56 to 60 mile per hour wind. Our radar is the closest radar to this spot. That's obviously the 408 there at the bottom, and the 436 State Road 50 corridor. So that's right at the Executive Airport. It doesn't look like it was like a microburst. It just looks like a straight line wind, a severe wind gust. So unfortunately, that very much played out in ground truth. And with that said, we had a fatality. So this was a severe warned storm. Any afternoon in Central Florida, we can get into these severe storms. So we have to remember every afternoon, Mother Nature, without trying to sound like dramatic, Mother Nature's out for us, right? We have to be on alert, which is why I think being informed in weather is just so important. So here's a look at today then, right? There's lunchtime, and you can see popcorn showers developing over I-95. Watch the thunderstorms getting bubbled by about 1:30 to 3 o'clock around the metro. And then everything is gradually working inland, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and then continuing on through later periods. But that does look better and better for high school football. So at least there's that, right? But it was a very dangerous, unfortunately, scenario last night. Every single afternoon, these kinds of scenarios can play out, okay? So that's where we're at right now. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Good morning to you, Arnett. How are you? Jay says, not awake yet. I feel you there. David, was very bad in Winter Park. That it was. That it was. Diane, good morning to you. Hearing thunder from my back porch in Port Orange. Oh, I love distant. There's something about the smell of rain and distant thunder in the morning that just gets every one of my senses going. I mean, the smell of the breeze. I love a good afternoon storm, but the morning rain, it's magic. And maybe it's because it doesn't happen all the time. Dory, it looks like a mini tornado by East Colonial yesterday. Trees down, lots of debris. Remember, though, Dory, it doesn't, that radar shot is the only one that I have to work with. I was not working radar yesterday. I was picking up the kids. So I'm not going to say that I'm fully educated on what happened yesterday. But just judging off of that one radar shot, this is our live radar's velocity, there wasn't rotation in there. What I'm seeing here, and that's off the West radar, which we calibrate like all the time, it is just a burst of wind, a pocket of wind gusts. So remember, wind spinning versus wind straight, that's just direction. You can get severe wind gusts of 60 miles per hour playing out and have damage too. And that's why severe thunderstorm warnings exist, because they can be equally as troublesome, as equally as damaging, as equally as deadly. So, yeah. Let's see here. Kenneth, good morning to you. Norman, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. And David, Nancy, good morning, y'all. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. How terrifying for those people. Vanessa, can you imagine you're holding short of a runway waiting because the weather's bad, and then all hell breaks loose, right? It's just sad. It really is. Yeah, it really is. Beverly's asking, so how does the weather look for tomorrow? Well, so we do have showers and thunder showers in the forecast. I'll get to that in a second. Casey's asking a good question, though. Should we be worried about severe thunderstorms this afternoon? I would say any afternoon in Central Florida during the summertime, any one of these storms could get feisty. So, and that's the one thing that I think we need to always remember in Central Florida. It doesn't take much to get a storm stronger. So that's why we have to watch every single afternoon so carefully. And I'm not hyping it. I mean, case in point, yesterday, normal afternoon storms, right? And we had a deadly storm. So that just, I hope that it goes to show you, that any afternoon, any afternoon we could get a little strong. So what about this weekend's forecast? Well, let's just take a look. First off, let's look at the 7-day forecast, and then we can go a little more in depth, right? Of course, we've got the Artemis launch tomorrow. All right, rain chance goes down a little bit and then continues down Sunday into Monday. And of course, Monday being Labor Day. So today's going to be the stormier of the lot, but there are storms in the forecast each afternoon. So let's just talk a little bit about SLS, right? Because it's tomorrow. I'm going to be taking the weather lab out there, and this will kind of bridge our gap into the Saturday forecast as a whole, okay? So first off, I do worry about the showers and thunder showers, more so for the tanking of the rocket. Space Launch Delta 45 over at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Launch weather officers calling for a 60% chance of good weather for this thing. In that 2-hour window, 60% chance of good weather. Okay? At some point, I think we'll find good time. The concern is that window goes from 2:17 p.m. to 4:17 p.m. You've got to back up 8 hours. Okay? You've got to back up 8 hours to get to tanking. Okay, so if it's a 2:17 window, let me just pull up this graphic here that I made. Of course, it's not in order anymore because we did a software upgrade yesterday. Here it is. All right, so over these next few hours, what we're going to be watching, in about 24 hours from now, so if it's 2:17 that they're targeting, T-minus 9 hours, 40 minutes is the weather and fuel briefing. So if it's 2, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So you're talking 3:34 a.m. That's when crews over at the Kennedy Space Center are going to be chatting about the weather and getting ready for tanking. And of course, they start with slow flow and then they move on from there. 8 hours before. So if it's 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So around 6 a.m. or so is when they begin tanking. And it's really the first hour of tanking that weather is a major concern, because what they need to worry about is any leaks that they don't know about. If you leak out flammable gas, obviously that is a huge concern. So at the beginning of tanking, weather is much more vital than, say, midway through or after. So I think we'll be good. The only concern, though, if we come back over for a moment to our first warning live Doppler radar right now, we're tracking a thunderstorm. Now, it's not at the Cape, but it does go to show you that the weather pattern that we're in does at least offer the threat for some thunder and lightning at the shoreline. This did play in on Tuesday's attempt. It pushed back their tanking by an hour as there was a rogue thunderstorm. So we're definitely going to be monitoring it. I will tell you, I will be up at like 3 o'clock tomorrow morning already tracking the darn thing. So I'll be posting to social. I'll be updating you just as much as I possibly can, letting you know every bit of the way. But tanking weather is going to be a bit of a concern, at least at the beginning. Then afterward, we're going to be looking certainly better and better and better again. We're hearing of a 60% chance of good weather for the rocket itself, okay? All right. Now that said, that's just, of course, one element of tomorrow. After that, we have to start looking at college football. And I know I throw shade, but UF is welcoming the Utes to town. There will be showers and thunder showers. Remember, Alachua County's west, like northwest central Florida. So I think for tailgating, for the tailgaters, pun intended, showers and storms are going to be around. So just know those metal tents have metal. They're not safe. So you see a thunderstorm moving in, pack it up, get in the car, get in the truck, get in the whatever, the minivan, depending on what phase of tailgating you're in. But just know that you're going to need to be able to get in. Okay, after that, the game does look better and better and better, right? Judy, good morning to you. How are you? Now I'm just checking in with comments. How's weather looking for Labor Day in Orlando? Working on it, Liz. We're getting there. We're getting there little bit by little bit. So all said and done, here's where we're at for the whole weekend, okay? Rain chance today, 60%. Rain chance tomorrow, 50%. And then we get down to a 40% coverage of storms for your Sunday and your Monday. And that certainly does include Labor Day. So Labor Day itself, everybody but me has the day off. I'm working from Amalfi. That's okay. It's okay. Listen, we trade holidays. It's fine. For the first time in my career, not only do I get Thanksgiving off, I get Christmas Day off this year. What? I guess 17 years with the same company finally pays off. Yes. The way we have it staffed, every weather person should get 2 holidays off. And Cam's birthday is around or on January 1st, so she needs that one off for sure. So I don't mind working that and let the kids have that one off. But I'm just very excited. What? I have Christmas off? Who knew that was a thing? Period. Man. Anyway, so Labor Day, I'm working from Amalfi. Happy to do so. Showers and thunder showers in the forecast through the afternoon. Okay. By the way, tonight, the first night, did you know of Halloween Horror Nights? I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe Halloween Horror Nights is already here. Man, oh man. So showers and storms around, but notice by like 10, 11, 12, toward the middle and end of the event, things are going to be looking better and better and better for sure. In terms of high school football, certainly there is some good old-fashioned action tonight. And Spruce Creek and Lake Mary getting together. Again, we're watching those storms moving away at the beginning, and then things are just getting better and better and better, right? Okay, so I it may be a little bit of a wet field in Lake Mary, but just gonna have to deal with that. So rain coverage as a whole, as we look at the rain as a whole today, the beaches are in the best spots. The more and more west you are, that's where we get more and more of those showers and storms around. All right? Kathy can't wait to get back to Florida. Oh, thank you very much. Arthur says, let's hope all goes well. A rollback to VAB would be a bummer. They met yesterday and confirmed they're going for a Saturday launch attempt. So we'll be out there. And as a matter of fact, let's just take a look for a moment at Futurecast for tomorrow. There's lunchtime. We'll be watching a few showers around. Okay, but through the launch window, we're looking good. Like, let's just look at that 217. If we want to get technical, I've got the timestamp on the screen there rounding. But if you want to look at this is 217. That's 217, okay? So what you're looking at for 217 is a 10-mile launch window without thick cumulus clouds and without precip. So that's looking fine there, right? Yeah, that's fine there. And then everything kind of moves in. So, I think for weather, we'll be good. That's 3 o'clock. I think for weather, we'll be good. The clouds and the storms are all going to be moving inland. And that through the launch window, I think we're going to be fine. So, hey, for what it's worth, I think we'll be good for the launch tomorrow. Very excited. If the launch doesn't go off on Saturday, then when will be the next chance for it to launch? Monday. But let's not even talk about that. We already blew up all of our schedules just to get coverage for tomorrow. I don't want to have to do, yeah. I remember surfing Play Linda in the 80s and seeing the shuttle sitting on the launch pad all the time. Yeah, well, yeah. I have a question for sure. What models are used for the LRC? It's not modeling, it's observation and calculation. It's all done by hand. Yeah. How are we looking tomorrow afternoon? All right, so let's look at Saturday on Futurecast. Give me a minute. Hey, Mr. Rocky. Give me a minute and I'll find Futurecast, the more extended version that'll go out through tomorrow. There we are. All right, so Futurecast, Saturday. Let's just roll through time here. So Saturday, you can see we're good. There's going to be some clouds around, but we're good for the morning, right? All right. There's 1:30, 2 o'clock, starting to popcorn up some rains. By 6 o'clock, notice everything's like out west, right? And then it moves from out west to out west. Yeah. So the best coverage of rain for tomorrow is going to be west of town. So theme parks looking good. May get a couple of early afternoon showers and storms. But, all things considered, we're looking pretty okay. I like that. Right? You good with that? All right. Let's talk a little bit about the tropics, shall we? There are some things that we need to watch. Stand by. Looking for this. All right. So first and foremost, we've got Tropical Storm Danielle. More than likely, it will become a hurricane today. Season's first hurricane. Maximum sustained winds are at 70 miles an hour. It is continuing to get stronger and stronger. So what is ahead for Danielle? There's the current positioning. Hurricane Center thinks that by 2 o'clock this afternoon, it becomes a Category 1 storm and continues to get stronger. By Sunday, winds of 90 miles an hour, just meandering around in the North Atlantic. And then it starts to pull away, potentially even getting stronger. Category 2 storm, and then starting to weaken in the cooler waters of the North Atlantic. So Danielle is going to be a hurricane, we think, A little late for the first hurricane, but nevertheless. One thing that's interesting is now that Danielle has been a named storm, we are starting to accumulate ACE points. I wanted to update this because, we've now went from 2.8 ACE points for the season to now we're at 3.9 ACE points. ACE is a metric of accumulated cyclonic energy. It accounts for storm size, strength, and duration. So it's a really good metric of the season. So now that we have a named storm, we're starting to accumulate those points. Average through today, 41.1. Certainly we are below average. Through today last year, we were at an ACE of 47. But we've got a named storm, and there's more to track out in the tropics. So in addition to that, we've got two areas to watch. The one off the coast of Africa, a low-end 10% chance, not expecting that to get going. But Invest 91, approaching the Antilles there, still an elongated area of low pressure. Hurricane Center did say that if needed, they will send a reconnaissance aircraft today to investigate it, okay? Could develop into a depression. The good news for us is that the patterns are not likely for it to hit us or it to rapidly intensify. We do think that it could go through some intensification. Computer models continue to hint at that, even though the GFS, I feel like we need to put out to pasture old Yeller style or something. 50% chance over the next 2 days' time of forming, 70% chance over the next 5 days' time of forming, so a high likelihood of that happening. Where are the spaghetti models? Well, let's look at the last 4 runs, okay? So here's 3 runs ago on the computer forecast models, and you can see a nice hard recurvature. Let's go 2 runs ago, a little closer because the storm continued to work off toward the west and continued to be weak. Kind of consistent 1 run ago, and then now staying consistent, but the envelope remaining open. One thing that's interesting that we observed with Invest 91 yesterday on the computer models is that the Canadian in particular wanted to try and bring it a little closer to us. So let's take a look. I've been in dad mode all morning, so I have not looked at this, but we will look together. All right, there's Invest 91 in the bottom right corner. Why am I not showing the wider shot? Because at least for the moment, we don't need to. We can do it. I hit the wrong button. Atlantic Basin. There we go. It's fine. We can do it that way. All right, so here we are, Invest 91, right where it says forecast, in forecast high 90, okay? All right, so follow through time. The GFS, not as bullish on development, at least in the short term, but there it is. It's starting to develop and lifts north and recurves. Look at that, 970, 964. So at least according to the GFS, it intensifies into perhaps a major hurricane. Ooh, and you get some Fujiwara effect there too. You see that, right? Let me go back. You see that right there? That's the Fujiwara effect off of the Canadian Maritimes. That's fun. All right, then it gets kind of... Oh, and then we got more Fujiwara. Boy, the GFS is just insane. A couple little pieces of energy, nothing crazy. And that's as far out as that goes. Boy, the GFS is something else. All right, let's switch over to the European model. Running it through time. You see that, though? It's staying quite close. That's Sunday week, but just due north of Puerto Rico, right? Continuing and approaching the Turks and Caicos there, starting a bit of a lift. Let's go to the 0Z because the 6Z only goes through 90 hours. And look at that. See that right there? That's kind of interesting because that's Thursday, September 8th, and Invest 91 is like literally over the Turks and Caicos Islands, and then starts to recurve and gets a little closer. You see that right there? That's September 11th, just off the coast of the Outer Banks, versus the GFS that has it way out to sea already. So European and GFS are absolutely not in agreement in terms of the future of Invest 91. You see that right there? Just off the coast of the Outer Banks, and then kind of recurving from there. So interesting, right? Just when you think that it's like, oh, it's not a big deal for anybody, it's like, well, it may get a little closer. I'm not saying it's going to be a big deal, but kind of interesting. Let's take a look at the ensembles, because why not? You're here. This is a weather nerd place, so let's weather nerd. Let's do... I'm trying to think. Atlantic. I'm just trying to think of, yeah, that may be a decent view. So the GFS, we'll go basin for now. That's fine. So Atlantic Basin. I don't like being wide on this just because it's, but you can see all the low locations there. And you can see the ensembles are kind of spreading out. Yeah. Whereas the European, United States regions. I just want to show. Yeah, you can kind of see those ensemble members are getting a little closer to the Northeast. So let's basin. Bear with me. I know I'm just doing a little analyzation with you. Not making good TV, but I haven't seen this yet, so I want to study it with you. All right, so there it is, north of Puerto Rico, right? Kind of spreading from there. But a lot of the ensemble members do take it at least close enough-ish, close enough to the Northeast. Where do they go from there? It gets absorbed. So it's a lot of questions. But it's interesting. Nonetheless, it's interesting. And I think that's a point that I'd like to make, is that there's an interesting feature there. And nothing else, right? Real quick, let me load up the BSR. Just want to see what's doing there. All right, it's loading. Give it a second. Turn you off. I'm just looking to see if the Florista is showing up. Yeah, I don't really see much of the Florista, so not a huge concern. Just interesting stuff. That's all. Just interesting stuff. All right, so that's where we're at. No threats to us, thankfully, but there are still activities showing up. All right? I don't have to work on Arbor Day. You could go out in the garden and work. Launch attempt 2:17 to 4:17 p.m. Yes. Let's see here. Hopefully it will be clear enough to watch from Castaway. Oh, you're talking about the launch? Yeah. Well, and if not, remember, I will be streaming. Even if my internet signal goes down the tubes, back at the station, they'll be streaming with an internet connection. So you'll have that taken care of. We made it through August without a named storm, didn't we? We did, Jenny, but September 1st, we got our named storm. Yeah. Looks like Danielle will be a fish storm. Next name is Earl. That's right. That's right. And I posted some stats about that yesterday on Twitter. The GFS is GFSing again. I know. Mike, all of a sudden, I'm in the mood for some sushi. Yeah, right? Ay. What's happening? The GFS with the Fujiwara. It's like that model run in particular, the 6E run, is perfect for textbook like, all right, class, we're going to teach you about the Fujiwara effect now. What? What's going on? As long as tropical storm remains a fish storm out to sea, I won't complain. I'll agree with that. Cindy hears her voice, I don't think. Dogs hear voices, Eric. She recognizes you. Oh, that's too cute. That's too cute. I love it. All right. So any questions? Rain chances gradually going down the next couple of days. I will tell you this, though, my friends. So tomorrow, let's chat a little bit about coverage. So I'll be out at the Cape. I believe we're starting our hits at 6 a.m. So I will be live 6 a.m. at the Cape talking all about the launch. Okay? Then from there, Coffee Talk, extended edition from the Weather Lab. We'll be tracking everything. We'll start, of course, with the launch and do all that stuff. We'll get into the tropics. We'll do our normal stuff at first. We'll get into, a little of this, a little of the hits, runs, and airs, and then we're going to dive even deeper. A special elongated Coffee Talk. We're going to go for an hour tomorrow. So consider 8 to 8:30 normal Coffee Talk, and then from 8:30 to 9 will be this extended Artemis coverage where we're going to be chatting about the rocket, chatting about trajectory, chatting about the mission, all of that fun stuff, okay? So join us for that tomorrow morning. And then through the day, we'll do little quick bursts of social lives. And then at, so if the launch window opens at 2:17, I believe we're starting live coverage on WESH 2 at 1:30. We have crews scattered about Brevard County covering every element. Of course, I'll be on the element of weather. We'll have another reporter on crowd reaction. People, how long have they been waiting? What did they do to get a great seat? We, of course, have our space reporter. Scott Heidler is going to be at the Kennedy Space Center, just north of my location. He's going to be tracking all of the kind of hits, runs, and errors on the SLS system itself, following along with Artemis Launch Control. And then we've got anchors that are going to be out there too. So full production. Join us, people, okay? Don, thank you. And to Don's husband, thanks, buddy. Good to see you. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Extended launch coverage tomorrow, starting on WESH 2 News Sunrise and continuing through the day. Coffee Talk's even getting bigger. Man, very cool. All right. Be good, y'all. See you.